Oh, hey everyone, welcome to the Outlet Podcast vlogs here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe and share. Today, everything's linked in the description. Today, what I want to do is cover the my last entry for John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. I just finished reading it, not while I was driving. I know this is a driving vlog, but not while I was driving, guys. I just finished it, and I'm not left with questions, but I'm left with awe, I guess. So my last video, I talked a lot about Lenny. He snapped, and he got, and he fought back after Curly was like whooping up on him, and so yeah. Today, though, well, there was a sort of a free day, I guess, of sorts, and Curly and Lenny was in a barn, and everybody was playing shoe horse, and I guess they were betting. No one was with Lenny, and Lenny was in, I guess, the farmhouse or some of the words in the book, settings that, things that they're trying to describe, I can't understand, because I guess the old lexicon and vernacular. So I understood it as a farmhouse. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was a whole bunch of hay. Lenny was there, and Lenny's dog was there, the pup, and it was dead. It was dead because, just like his, the little rat, Lenny kills things. He breaks things, and he was petting it, and I guess it was trying to bite him. It looked like it was trying to bite him, and so Lenny killed it. I think he slapped it, or he said he bounced it, or its neck was broken. It was dead. Well, not too long after, though, Curly's wife shows up. Now, we all know Curly's wife so far, kind of like a slut, a whore, she's trying to get her kicks. That's what's going on, right? Well, she dresses herself up really nice, and she goes to Lenny. She finds out that he's the only one in this barn. And, well, she brings up the same excuse. She's like, no one wants to talk to me. I'm all by myself. I don't like being locked up. And what we see is that she begins to unravel and really show her a side of her that is not a slut or a whore. What we see is that she's in an unhappy marriage, and it's not just unhappy, not like sex and stuff, but like unfulfilled. There's this little move that in the book says she does with her hands or something, and she tries to she was showing Lenny that she could have been in the pictures. That's what they say, the pictures, the movies. That she could have been something or done something with her life. But she ended up marrying Curly. Well, story goes on, and she sees what happens. Okay, so she sees what happens to the dog, starts talking to Lenny. Now, how do I... Okay, fine. They start talking about soft things. Like, he's like, I was petting it and because I like soft things. And he starts saying, Lenny starts talking about the velvet that he would pet. Well, not just the velvet that he would pet, but Lenny also Lenny petted velvet because his mom or his aunt gave him a cloth of velvet. Well, she, I guess, maybe sexually or not, personally, I think she was becoming very human at this point. So I don't think she was like lusting to, have sex with Lenny or rape Lenny. So she lets him touch her hair, and he likes her hair a lot. And he starts to kind of like pull it, and he's like, and she says, you're messing it up, and she's trying to pull away, but he's so drawn into the softness that, well, one thing leads to another, and she's trying to scream, and he covers her mouth because he doesn't want George to find out that he's doing stuff that he shouldn't. Well, he kills her. He accidentally breaks her neck. Well, he runs away into the brush because George said to go to the brush of this lake or a stream and hide in the brush until George shows up. Well, people find out, and long and short, George finds Lenny. And he sits next to him, and just as the beginning of the book started, it's how the ending of the book began. They both were sitting on the dock of a stream, of a river, and George and Lenny was curled, like he brought his knees in and, you know, kind of like rocking a little back and forth and crying out to George, "George, tell me about the farm," like that, right? Like, and so what happens is George starts to tell him about the farm, but he gets up and gets behind Lenny, and he tells Lenny, "Look ahead, look further ahead of you, look ahead." And Lenny's just obeying George, and he's talking. He's like, "Tell me what's gonna happen. Tell me the farm. Tell me about the rabbits. Tell me about the alfalfa and all this stuff," just like in the beginning of the book. Well, George had taken George had taken Slim's Luger. I think it was Slim's Luger or Carlson's Luger, and Luger type of gun, I guess back then or even now. So George had that gun, and he puts the gun right at the nape of Lenny's neck, or a little further away, and he shoots and kills Lenny. And when everybody runs to where the gun shot, because they were trying to kill Lenny too, I believe it was Slim, and it was George who says, "We need to get a drink," and they go off to get a drink. And the last part of the book, it talks about Curly and Carlson, and Carlson asks Curly, "What do you think that's about?" And so that's how the book ends, and it's amazing because I don't know if I like parallels. I think parallels are really interesting, and I've seen a lot of writers use them. They take a certain thing and they bring it, they'll take certain things and they'll put it into another scenario where the same thing applies. You know, for example, like, well, I don't know how to say it. Here, it starts off at a lake. Here, let me show you. Just like this. It starts off, they're both in a lake. Well, at the end, they wind up in a lake. Slim has his dog killed. So they shoot Slim's dog. The same way Lenny was killed. Lenny gets into the same problems that he got into. Well, but now he killed the lady. He didn't. You know, the other lady said that she was being raped because Lenny was touching her skirt. This one, a little bit different. Lenny, kills the lady because he's a little bit aware of himself. So these parallels, these similarities, like drawing back from one thing to another, it's oddly satisfying for a book to end like that. Because in just like 104 pages, a story was told, and there's so much closure. I've been okay recently with stories not giving me closure. I'm okay if a story doesn't give me closure. Questioning and wondering, that's a part of imagination. But it's also really cool and satisfying to have a book and read it and find out the ending, and everything gets resolved. Nothing is left dissonant. Like, you don't have any wondering questions. I recommend to you, please, pick up Of Mice and Men. It's a very simple read. They drop the N-bomb quite a bit. And there's like if you can imagine a southern drawl, a very country accents in California. I don't know how that works. I don't know how the country was in California. but because I'm here just in Florida, Southern boy, Southern Hispanic. So yeah, I recommend to you, please, go eBay. This is probably an $8 book, including shipping and handling, or go to your local libraries or download it. However you choose to download it, a very entertaining read, and I think you will love it. I definitely loved it, and I'm proud to say I've read John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. Let me know what you think about the book. I hope I didn't spoil it. Well, if I did spoil it for you, well, these are my vlogs, and that's what I'm sharing, my experiences. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you read the book, how you feel about the story, how you feel about closure in literature, in books and stories. Do you need closure? Let me know in the comments below, because I'll actually read them and I'll respond back, because I like to know what my faceless compatriots around America and around the world, what you think. I want to know what you think. Let me know. My name's Gazy, host of the Outlet Podcast. Connect and recharge.